Hi everyone, welcome back to Little K Artistry. I am Kristen, the artist also known as Little K, and I am welcoming you back into my little corner of the art world in my art studio today in central Maine. It is snowy and gray and cold here today. We are in the last few days of February as I get ready to create this 24 by 36 inch gallery wrapped canvas. I am excited to start a new series. This is a short series. There'll only be a few paintings in this series, but it is a short series of larger pieces, and this will be fluid art. This is not texture or abstract cellism. This is my fluid art, and today I'm going to be doing a Dutch style bloom, and this is in the style of Rinske Douna. And this uses my Little K pouring medium. It's very simple, and it makes for a beautiful dried result. And I'm really excited to share this with you today because I'm very nervous to do this piece because it's a special piece for a friend of mine, and this whole series is all going to be for her, and that she's going to be hanging these in her office in my hometown. So I'm very excited and a little bit nervous. I don't want to mess these up, but I am trying to incorporate the colors of their office and the different furnishings, the carpet and some of the beautiful furniture they have in their office in these pieces. So these first two that I'm going to be doing are going to be companion pieces, and they will feature an off-white and a custom burgundy, also browns and golds, to go in the first office. And this is the first one that I'm doing. And as I said today, this is a 24 by 36 inch gallery wrapped canvas, and I'm going to be doing a 5-petal bloom, hopefully. So I'm glad that you all joined me today. This is one of my very favorite styles of painting because it's so relaxing and beautiful, and I love the results that I can get with this process. So I'm going to be walking you through the colors that I'm using, and I'll do my very best to tell you how I did some of the custom colors that I'm using. Pretty simple. And then I'm going to do the blowout, and I'll show you a little bit of a blowout technique. I always like to show that in my videos where I'm using the hairdryer because there's a little bit of a knack to it. And hopefully hopefully this will go as planned. So thank you for joining me once again. Welcome or welcome back. If you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell so you'll be notified when I post videos so you can watch them and hopefully enjoy. So grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or your favorite beverage and sit back and relax. Hopefully this beautiful piece, I have pre-mixed all of my colors. This is a large canvas, so I'm using a lot of base color. And this base color is very simply, it is white. And then there is a little bit of burnt umber mixed in. So it's off-white. And I did that on purpose because I did not want a stark white background for this one, just because there was a lot of warm browns and beiges and warm reds in the office. So this is the color that, oh, there's something in there. That's not good. Wow, glad I found that. That's not good. Okay, that was probably on my stir stick when I put it in there. So this is the background color, and you'll see that it is just a really, really soft off-white. It's almost an unbleached titanium, but it's a little bit warmer than that because I did use the burnt umber. So it's a little warmer, and you'll see there is no trace. It does not leave a trace, and that's exactly what we want. I did make up 2 large cups of this so that I would have plenty, and if I have some left over, that's fine too. As I tell everyone every time I do this style of painting, make certain that you mix up enough of your base coat, because if you don't put enough base coat on your canvas, your composition will not move, and your canvas won't be wet enough. So you definitely want to flood the canvas with your base coat. So when you're doing larger canvases like this, it does require a little bit of an investment in paint. So when you're first starting out, I recommend that you do smaller canvases. I've been doing fluid art now for a couple of years, and I have learned to mix up enough of the base coat because if you don't, you're going to be doing stationary art. And where I do love stationary art, this is not that. This is fluid art, and I want to make certain that I have enough of the base paint. I might actually have to put a little bit on there. I'm not sure yet. Let me flatten it out here, smooth it out. Always make certain that you make up enough of your base color, especially guys, if you're doing a base color like this, that's a custom color. The worst thing that could happen, and let me tell you, I only know from experience because it has happened before, you do a base coat with a custom color that you have to mix and you don't mix enough. So you end up having to either try to mix more, and if you aren't certain of the percentages of the colors that you use, your color might not be right. And or if you don't decide to mix up more paint, then you end up trying to do your painting on a canvas which does not have enough base coat on it. Either way is not a good scenario. So always make sure that you mix up more than you need, a little bit more than you need. You can always use it for a smaller painting if you want to do a companion piece and do a smaller piece, or you can use it as one of your composition colors if you don't have quite enough left over and you wanted to do a painting that had some lighter tans or beiges in it if you're using this color. So if I have some left over, I'll just put it in a squeeze bottle and I'll mark it so that I know what color it is. And if I don't have enough for a base coat for another piece, and then I can use it in a composition for another painting down the road. So always keep your leftover paints, guys. I don't think any of us want to be wasteful. But definitely make sure that you have enough base coat. Otherwise, you're gonna be hurting. Ask me how I know. So many paintings I have done without enough base coat and I really regretted it. So don't be like me or like I was in the beginning. Now I have plenty of base coat, as you can see. And I'm gonna spin this just a little bit to even that out a little. And then I'm gonna have a little bit go down the edges, most likely. And if you all are wondering, I'm not using the spinner this time that I made because that spinner only holds a 24-inch canvas and this one is 24 by 36. I could use that spinner, but sometimes when I'm doing these blooms, I like to kind of scoot the painting off one side or another. And if I have if I use my rounded spinner that I made, I don't have enough room on the spinner to if I wanted to scoot the canvas to one side or another, there isn't enough room to do that with that spinner. So I opted for the larger spinner, and this is Erica Hughes' spinner. And unless I'm mistaken, I believe her husband makes these spinners. When she gets an order, they don't come from the US. If you live in the US, just be aware that they are shipped from outside the States. So it does take a little while for it to get here, but it's definitely worth it. This is a fantastic spinner. I love my spinner from Erica Hughes. All I'm doing is just touching up the sides a little bit. I did not pre-paint my sides, so I just want to get a little bit of the background color down the sides too. I will likely be touching it up anyway. I'm going to put a little bit from my other cup. I have another cup made up, so I'm going to put a little bit in there. There we go. Just going to touch up the sides here, just so that if the composition does go over the edges, I will have enough paint down the sides so that it can move freely down the sides of the canvas. There we go. Really excited for this piece, you guys. I've not done one with this color combination before. Typically when I do reds, it's a brighter red. I'll use a primary magenta or a primary magenta or just a primary red. And I did start the custom burgundy that I'm using it does start with primary red and also primary blue. There. All right. Wipe my glove off. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and torch this to get rid of the bubbles, some of the bubbles. In this style, because the paint is so thin, if you have bubbles in your base coat, they will come up through the top layer. And in this case, each time a bubble comes up, I'll end up with a cell. And I don't necessarily want a ton of cells in this piece. If you see me do any of the abstract cellism pieces, you'll notice that I don't really have a lot of bubbles to pop, and it's because I don't mind having extra cells in that. Because it's abstract cellism. There's supposed to be cells. The nice thing about this is because the paint is so thin, the bubbles pop really easily when you torch them. And we'll just even that out a little bit more. This is my 4-foot table, but you'll notice this canvas is a little bit close to the edge. I might have a little paint that spins off this edge, and that's fine. I have an old rug down here, and I'm wearing old pants, and I have my painting smock on, so we're good to go. Just make sure we've got all the bubbles. Smooth as glass, that's what we want. And although I didn't just mix those colors, it's been a few hours, there are still some bubbles in them, and I want to make sure I get all the bubbles out. One last pop-a-rooey here, and then the moment of truth. We had the colors. Okay, are you guys excited about this as I am? I do have to mix one color as we go here. I wasn't sure I would have enough of the background color. Okay, so let me show you the colors I'm going to be using. So this is the first color. This is that custom burgundy that I told you about. It's a beautiful, it looks kind of like a purplish brown. That's a beautiful custom burgundy. And that is just, like I said, a combination of the primary red, the primary blue, and then a little bit of burnt umber to darken it up. You can also darken it with black. And then this is the burnt umber. That will be the next color that I will be using. And then I also have a beautiful gold, and this is Iridescent Precious Gold by Pebeo. That's a lovely gold. I'm going to be using that one, but what I want to do is I want to mix a little bit of my background color with my custom burgundy. And that is going to be the color that I'm going to go around the outside edge with, because I want a little bit of a contrast. So I want a little bit of a lighter purple. Ooh, that's pretty. On the outside, it's like a purplish gray. So that's just a mixture of the background color and my custom burgundy. So that came out really nice. I'm happy with that. Okay. I wasn't sure if I'd have enough of the background color, and I wanted to mix the burgundy with the background color. So I saved that one to the end. Okay, I'll put that over there and I will wash that later. Okay, so I'm starting with, I see a bubble. I'm going to start with a little puddle of the burgundy. Okay, there's that custom burgundy. And then on top of that is a little bit of the burnt umber. And again, I have that in the background, so it's going to be really, I think it'll be really complimentary. There's the burnt umber. And then in the middle, a little bit of that Pebeo Iridescent Precious Gold, which is so pretty. It's such a pretty gold. There we go. Come on, drip, or not. Okay, and then around the outside edge, a little bit of that mixture of the custom burgundy and the background color. There. Okay. Doesn't look like a lot of paint, does it? And I think I've got enough in this one. I'm just going to flood around the outside of it. Just, again, because you want to make sure that your paint, your composition, which is the colors, you want to make sure those will move when you start spinning. So what I do is I'm going to blow out the flower, and then I'm going to spin to stretch it. Okay. Are you guys ready? I'm so ready. I've been thinking about this for like a week. Okay, and as I've told you before, I'll have my blower on, so I'm not going to talk while I'm using the blower. I have the blower on cool and it's on low, and what I'm going to do is I don't push the paints this way. It's almost an upside down, and I'll do a little bit of a twist too with the hairdryer. It takes a little bit of practice, but you guys can do it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hopefully blow out a 5-petal bloom. It might end up being more than 5 petals. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, I was holding my breath. I don't know if you guys are holding your breath too, but I was holding my breath. Okay, I'm going to hang that away. Now I'm going to define the petals a little bit, not very much, and I am going to use my finger just because this is a big canvas, so I want to make sure we get some good definition here. That gold is so pretty. Okay, and I'm going to torch this just to see if there's any bubbles that want to come up, any cells that want to form. All right, now we're going to start the spinning process. I'll just spin a little bit in the beginning here to see what the composition will be. Lovely. I'm going to spin it the other way. The gold is just on all around the outside edges, so pretty. What I think I might want to do at this point is, I don't always do this, but where these leaves are really ruffly, I think I want to pull in from the edges a little. Just a little bit. Just to make the petals a little more interesting. And I don't go too far in just because as I'm spinning that will stretch out too. Just a little bit. Okay, all right, let's spin a little more and let's see what's going to happen now. Gonna go the other way. Oh, wow. These colors are beautiful together. Super happy with these colors. Gorgeousness. I am going to be, like I said, this is the first in the series. I'm going to be using these same colors on the same size canvas with a different style. Now I noticed that this one's not quite as long, so I'm just going to scoot the canvas that way a little bit. So then when I spin, and make sure it's all still in the right spot. Okay, here we go. So hopefully this side will spin a little bit more now because it's closer to the outside. Just want to elongate that one petal a little more before I move it back to the center. Yeah, that's working. Okay, I'm going to do that one more time. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I'm going to do one more like that, and then I'm going to put it back in the center because I still want that petal, this area, to get elongated a little bit more. So let me, one more time. Once more the other way. It's just so, so pretty. Okay, I'm going to scoot it back to the middle and spin it a couple more times. And you'll notice that most of the paint has come down over the edges. There are a few spots here and there that I might have to touch up once it's dry. And that's another reason, another really good reason to do more base layer than you need. That way you have some of the correct color when you get ready to do touch-ups of the background when it's all dry. If you find that you need touch-ups, you can touch up the sides or the background and you'll have the right color. You won't have to worry about mixing the color again. So I really can't stress enough to make sure you make, I keep saying that, but it's true. Make sure you have enough base coat, you guys. Okay. All right, so now it's in the center. I think it's pretty well centered. And I'm going to spin it another couple of times and see if we can stretch it out a little more. One more. Well, gosh, I don't want this to go off the edge, but I do want this to be a little bit, just spin or not spin. You know what? I think I'm going to leave it. I think I'm going to leave it. I think it is just about, I don't want to say perfect because art isn't supposed to be perfect, but this is what I was going for. This is definitely the composition, and I like trying to see which way. I think there's a bubble right there. I hope it's a bubble and not a thing. Yep, bubble. I think probably the composition is, let's see, I like it like that. No, I like it like that too. Well, I guess either or. The composition works either way. I'm considering which way it needs to be hung in the office because, again, I am doing a companion piece to go with it. And one of the pieces is on one end of the office and there's a window to that side, and the other piece is on the other end of the office and there's a window to that side. And I like it facing, I'm thinking this is, if the window was here, it's facing away from the window that way. So depending on which side of the room they put it on, either this way. If the window is on this side of the room, then it will hang this way so that it looks like the flower is looking into the room. Yeah, really love this. Really love this. Okay, oh, this came out really nice. So I hope you guys enjoy this as well. I will definitely be updating when this is dry. So I will share a photo of this or a short video of this when it's dry so that you can see how well it dried. This pouring medium that I use dries exceptionally well as long as you have a nice level surface, and I do out in the other room. So I am going to bring you in for a close-up before I move it to the other room. so that you can see what I am seeing. It is just beautiful with there's a tiny hint of gold in around some of the edges. I also think I see a hair right there. Did I get it? I got it. Okay. I will bring you in for a close-up so you can see what I'm seeing. Here we go with the close-up. There's the center with that gorgeous iridescent precious gold by Pebeo. And you can see there's a little bit of it in each of the petals as well. There's just a hint of it. You can see. Oh, this came out so nice. I'm so very happy with this. I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see it in all its glory. I apologize for the lights reflecting on it. I can move those to the side a little bit. There. Hopefully that's enough light. You guys can see that. I am delighted with it. So very happy with this piece. Thanks for joining me. I will be back with an updated photo and video showing how it dried. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Please subscribe. This is Little K reminding you and encouraging you, go make the art. You'll be glad you did. Okay, back with the dried results. And as you can see, it dried beautifully. It is just gorgeous with that gold shimmer. And just a hint of gold in the petals. This is one of my new favorites. This one just dried so beautifully. Hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back with the companion piece as soon as it's done. Go make the art.